So I've got this power washer donated for repair. I've got some covers already off, and you can see the fuel tank here. What we've diagnosed as a fuel leak right where this mounting bolt is. Somebody's over tightened it, and directly above it is a hairline crack, and it just goes through the molded plastic and right into the bottom edge of the tank. You can see there that leak just very slowly weeping out. Alright, so what we have is a hot air workstation. I've set it to 130 degrees, which quick internet search says HDPE plastic melts at 120 to 140. I've got a pair of scissors. I'm going to remove a spare piece, a pair of tweezers, and my gas tank drained and flushed. I have filled the tank with water, closed off the outlet valve, and tightened the cap as tight as I can. So this is as full of water as I can get. It's always safer to weld on a full tank, and I figured the same would be true in melting plastic. So I'll nip a piece off here, and before we even put any heat towards the tank, see what the plastic does when I heat it up. I put the narrow tip on it. You can see as I pull it off, it immediately starts heating up. So we'll give it a try, see what happens. Okay, so I've cut off this small chunk. I basically just notched it out of one of the reinforced sections. I'm going to hold it here in these tweezers and put some heat to it and see how it reacts. Alright, so we're up to 150. Okay, so I let it cool briefly. I've turned it back on its side, as you can see. And so far, I don't show any leakage. Alright, so it doesn't leak. I'm happy with it, but I want to push my luck. I've turned it up to 160. I've installed a broader head. I want to go ahead and give this a go over. I just really want to know that that's cured together. Okay, I've mounted the tank back on the unit. This is a power washer. I've pulled the water pump off so I can run the engine without the water. Anyway, the tank's mounted. There's 2 bolts on that side behind this shield here, and there used to be a bolt here. It's obviously not needed. These 2 tabs are locking this tank in. And if I apply pressure, I mean, the whole thing's moving, and that tank isn't going anywhere. But more importantly, see where that crack stops? I've got a splash of gas in this tank now, and it's not leaking. I'm happy with that. Now, if I can get it to run well, it needs a little carburetor adjustment, but that's not why we're here. We were here to patch a gas tank, and about 160 degrees with some broad heat. I repurposed some of the existing plastic. You remember I notched a bracket, so I used half of that much of that notch, and got the base surface hot, melted that end of the top, let it cool, and then I went back over and I reheated the whole area, kind of smoothed it out. And up until right now, everything looks good. So once I get it running, I'll check it again. And I'm willing to bet that most of you said that's not going to work. And if you said that, you were right. Once I got that tank running and it started shaking and going crazy, trying to adjust the carburetor, it started weeping out. About 90% better than it was, but it's still not good to have gas leaking out on the top side of the motor. My goal is to use a Dremel and cut out where this screw hole is down to this surface here and this corner here, exposing everywhere this crack was. So hopefully I can patch it around the corner, and that ultimately shouldn't impact the tank, since I wasn't going to reuse that bracket anyhow. So see if we can't get this set up and let you watch. It's pretty rough. Could have used a longer blade on the Dremel. Alright, well, the torch is heating up. I got it set to about 160. I still have the broadhead. Well, I guess that'll work.